All right, and welcome back to the second episode on our AWS tutorials. So, if you have watched the theory part, the previous video, you now know what the users, groups, roles, and the policies are. But knowing and doing are two different things. So, let's actually build this right now live. So, I'm going to walk you through everything. So, first in the console, so you can see it visually, and then we'll redo parts of it using the CLI because that's what the real world engineers use, and honestly that's what interviewers want to hear you talk about. So let's start with the most important thing, the first one, which is securing the root account. So the very first thing you do in any AWS account before you create anything, before you touch any service, is lock down the root account. So here I'm logged in as root right now. So you can see my email up here on the top. So let me click on that and I'll go to the security credentials. So here, the bottom, the security credentials. And now as the next step, I'll scroll down to the multi-factor authentication once the security credentials page has been loaded in just another few more seconds. Now I'm going to scroll down to the MFA, the multi-factor authentication, and see how it says no MFA device. So I don't have any MFA assigned. That's actually a red flag, right? So we are going to fix that right now. So click on assign MFA, and I'm going to pick up the Authenticator app. You can use Google Authenticator or the whatever you prefer on your phone. And the next thing is you're gonna scan the QR code with the Authenticator app, and I'll start generating those 6-digit codes that refresh every 30 seconds. Just clicking on next. I'm gonna give the device name. So here I'm gonna give as AWS. Click on next. So now it did ask me to do few things. So first thing is it asked me to uh, scan the QR code, and it asked me two consecutive codes. So I have entered the first one, and then I waited for it to cycle. That is after 30 seconds, I have entered the second one. And once I hit the assign MFA, so this is what I've got. The MFA device has been assigned, and I've got the authenticator in my application. Even you can use Microsoft Authenticator as well. It really worked very well. Done. That's it. So you have just added a second lock to the front door of your entire AWS account. So if someone gets your root password now, they still can't get it without your phone. So this is non-negotiable, and do this any minute when you create a new AWS account. Now, let's create some users. So remember from the theory, we don't want anyone using a root for daily work. So we are going to create 3 users, and each representing a different role in the company. So let me head over to the IAM console. So here we have, and so you can search for IAM in the search bar on the top. So IAM, and here we are. So we are gonna get the screen where we're going to get the users. So IAM, the users on the left, and then once I click on it, I get to see this create user, right? So for the username, I'm going with the admin Alice. So Alice is our administrator in this scenario. So she is going to run the show. She needs access to everything. And now I'm going to check this box, that is provide user access to AWS Management Console. So this means Alice can log in through the browser just like we are doing right now. And then I'm going to select, I want to create an IAM user. So after I have selected the providing user access to the management console, I'm going to give a custom password in this case. And I'm going to uncheck user must create a new password at next sign in. So just for the demo, so we don't have to go through that flow in real life, leave that checked. And I'm going to click on next. So now here is an important one. It's it's asking how we want to give Alice the permission. So I'm going to click attach policies directly and search for administrator access. So this is an AWS managed policy. So here you can see the administrator access. And remember those from the theory. So AWS built it, AWS maintains it, and it gives full access to everything. It's perfect for our administrator, admin user. Select it. And now I'm going to click on next, review, and I'm going to create the user. Okay, so we have created our very first user, the admin user. And there she is. Alice is in the system, and you can notice that AWS gives a sign in URL. Here is the sign in URL. I'm gonna save this here. I'm gonna give it here and send again. Before that, click cancel, close this, cancel again because Alice is in the system, and notice AWS gives a sign in URL. So this is the URL that the IAM users will use to log in. So it's different from the root login page. So when I click on send again, reload. Yeah, so here I've got the user, the admin Alice, and then when I click on sign in, so here we can see the user is admin Alice, right? The very first user that we have created. And now let's move on. We'll go back to our original user thing. So I'm gonna switch role, switch it to okay. Let me just click cancel, and I'm gonna get out of my. I'm gonna sign out and my account. Sign into console. I'm gonna again sign as a root user to create more users now. So previously we created an admin user, and next up we're going to create a developer user. So again, we're going to go to this IAM and click on create user again. So users, IAM users, create user, and now the user is going to be dev Bob in our case. Bob is a developer, so he needs access to compute, storage, serverless stuff, but not the billing, not the IAM, not the account settings. So I'm going to enable access the same way. I'm going to set a password and I'm going to click next. So now here's the thing. I'm not going to attach any policies to Bob directly. We are going to use groups for that, which is the right way to do it. So I'll just skip this step and click create user. Okay. So yes, here I'm clicking next, next, and no access yet. So clicking on create user. So now we have got the second user, the dev Bob, with no access to any of those items that I have told you. Same thing, one more time, create user, go to the IAM user, or even you can type create user on top, or yeah, here we have got the create user. And this time I'm going to create auditor Dave. Okay, so the third user. So Dave is our new auditor, so he only needs to look at things, never change them, read only access across the board. The console access passwords keep permissions for now. So click on create user, right? So click on next, next, and create user. Okay, so now we've got three users. All right, so we've got three users: Alice, the admin; Bob, the developer; Dave, the auditor. None of them have permissions yet, except Alice, who we gave admin access directly. But even for Alice, we are going to do this properly with the group in a minute. Third thing, the second one is the part tree. So creating groups and assigning users, right? So what I'm going to do is this is where it all comes together. So groups are the way to manage permissions at scale. So you don't attach policies to individual users, you attach them to groups, and then you just drop your users into the right group. So let me go to IAM user groups in the left sidebar. I'm going to click on create group, the admins group. I'm going to create the user group name as it's going to be admins. Now, right below, I can add users to this group. So let me check admin Alice to it. And below that, I attach the policies. So I'm going to search for administrator access. So here it is. I'm going to check for that. and I'm going to click on create user group. Okay. So Alice is now in the admins group, and yep, creating group, admins group created. So she's now in the admins group, and the admins group has full access to everything, clean, organized, easy to audit. So now you might be thinking, wait, we already attached administrator access directly to Alice earlier, right? You're right. In practice, you would do one or the other, but not both. So the group based approach is better because when Alice leaves and someone else becomes admin, you just move the new person into the group, no policy juggling. That's it. And now the developers group. Right now, I'm going back again to the create group, and for the developers and for the policies, I'm attaching four. So the group name is going to be developers. Okay. And for the policies, I'm going to attach four. Starting from before that, let's add dev Bob. And now the policies. So I want to look for Amazon EC2 full access, my very first access, and then I'm going to give Amazon S3 full access. Yes, it's again AWS managed, and AWS Lambda full access. Yep. And then the Cloud Watch full access. Yep. I'm going to give all of these access, just these access to the developer. So notice what is not in there is no IAM access, no building access, no account management. Bob can build and deploy stuff, but he can't create users. He can't change permissions, or he can't rack up any surprise charges in services he doesn't need. That's the least privilege in action. So I'm going to click on create user group. And now for the third one, the third user group, which is the auditors group, the auditor Dave. So auditors group. I'm going to pick up auditor Dave here. So the policy is going to be just read only access. So look for read only access. So this is a very really powerful AWS managed policy. It gives read access to practically every services in AWS. So Dave can look at everything, but he can't touch anything. So and just like that, we have a proper IAM structure, three groups, three users. Let me just quickly look for this read only access. Yep. So just the read-only access for all of these AWS managed items. Choose all of these. So read-only access for all of these, right? Just like that. And again, I'm going to click on create user group. So he, what is okay? Makes sense. I will do some of these for now, just in case if he wants to access these ones. Yep. So now the auditor also has been created. So the point here is just to let you know how to create the users, the groups, and just like that, we have a proper IAM structure: three groups, three users, clear separation of permissions. If you inherit an AWS account and it looks like this, someone knew that what they're doing. Fine. So in our next video, I'll show you how to exactly do this via CLI, the command line interface. And after that, we'll move on to the interview questions. So until I see you all in the next video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite Vasant Cloud Talk YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.